I'm sitting on the wall outside the school gates. I usually meet Tyrone and Hassan here, but they're late today. School finished half an hour ago. Most of the students have left and some of the teachers are leaving too. I see Mr. Rogers drive past in his flashy Audi, sunglasses on, thinking he's cool. But he's a dick. He's always having a go at me in geography. He says I need to step up a gear if I want to pass my GCSEs. But he knows I've got dyslexia and dyspraxia. Most of the other teachers seem to understand. But he's impatient. He's always making little comments. Then the rest of the class start to laugh at me. As if I don't get enough of that already. I wish our Danny was still at school. He used to look out for me. Danny's my eldest brother, but he's 17 now and doesn't go to school anymore. One time he decked Dylan Craddock in the school car park because he heard him calling me slow. Proper left hook. Craddock dropped to the ground like a sack of shit. Of course, Danny got into trouble. Mum was called in and everything. We all sat there in the head's office. Mum, Danny and me. I remember my mum giving it as good as she got with the head. I'm a single mum, she said. I'm bringing up 6 kids. I work every hour that I can just to provide food and clothes because the government give me sod all. Don't tell me how to be a good parent. My other brothers and sisters are still at primary school. A carer picks them up because mum's a legal secretary and works till 6 every night. Danny's got a girlfriend now, so I don't get to see him as much. He's always at his girlfriend's house. I'm thinking Tyrone and Hassan aren't coming this afternoon. Then suddenly I hear Tyrone's voice. All right, Jakey boy? Tyrone and Hassan are my mates. They're 3 years older than me. 18, I think. I've been hanging out with them now for a few weeks, ever since Hassan saw a year 11 run off with my backpack as I was walking home from school. He chased after him and got my bag back. You need to stand up to them, bro, he said, as he gave back my bag. I was trying not to show I was upset, but I think Hassan clocked it because he asked if I wanted to hang out with him and Tyrone down the park. So since then we kind of hung out. They're so much cooler than the kids at my school, and they don't take the piss like everyone else. We just have a laugh. They've even invited me to a few of their mates' house parties. The first time they asked me, I told my mum was going to a party, but she didn't say much. Make sure you're home by midnight was all she said. But mum's in bed by 10 anyway, so it doesn't matter what time I get home. Last week Tyrone and Hassan took me to another house party in town. There was loads of beer and weed there. You ever smoke weed, Jakey boy? Tyrone asked me. I'd only ever smoked cigarettes up until then, but Hassan said I'd like it. It'll make you feel mellow, bro, he said. They both laughed when I took my first puff and it made me cough, but I soon got used to it, and I like the way it makes me feel. Then I thought Tyrone might ask for some money for the weed, and I don't really have any cash. It's a present, bro, he said. There's plenty more where that came from. So today when Hassan and Tyrone turn up, we're just chilling, sitting on the wall. Hassan passes me a smoke, just an ordinary one today, and I've lighted up. I see Mrs. Jeffries, a music teacher, coming out the school car park. She waves as she drives past. Mrs. Jeffries is sound. She's proper chill for a teacher, and pretty fit too. I've told Tyrone and Hassan about her before, and we've had a laugh and a joke about her. Tyrone says she looks like a proper goer. Hassan changes the subject. You want to go and play snooker tonight, bro? He asks. It's 7:30 in the evening, and I'm waiting outside the Corner Pocket Snooker Club in town. It's fairly new. It used to be Comet up until a few years ago. Tyrone and Hassan show up with a couple of other guys, a few years older than them. This is my cousin Jalal, Hassan says, indicating to the tall of the two. And this is my mate Tariq. They both look pretty sound. We go inside and we play a couple of games of pool. It's not busy. Tariq shows me how to rack up the balls and tells me what the rules are. The main thing is, he says, you've always got to be thinking of lining up your next shot. I find it quite difficult at first. I know I've played this game before and things like this don't come easily. I'm leaning over the table, trying to line up the cue with the cue ball. I'll help you, Tariq says, leaning over the table with me. His body's pressed close against mine, and I can feel his breath on my cheek. I look over at the others, and they're talking to the owner at another table. They look over and they're laughing. Then we hit the cue ball. It goes rocketing down the table. It clips the yellow and goes right in the middle pocket. That's it, Jakey boy, Tyrone shouts over. And the club owner's saying, he's a right hustle, that one. I'm smiling because I've never been any good at any sport before. I reckon with a bit of practice, I can nail this whole pool thing. Later, Hassan asks me if I want to chill and play some video games. Okay, I say. Hassan gives the owner a £10 note, and we're showing this side private room. There's a couple of sofas in there, and they're dead comfy, unlike Mum's settee at home. Jalal's brought a bottle of vodka, and we're passing it around. The club's not got a licence, Jalal says, so I brought my own. Tariq passes me the bottle. As I take a glug, Tariq puts his hands on the bottom of the bottle, putting it in my mouth more. I splutter as all the vodka hits the back of my throat. That's it, says Tariq. That's proper Russian shit, that. None of your Smyrna crap, he says as he's rubbing the top of my leg. I'm feeling a bit out of it now and the video screen's gone all blurry. I think someone needs to go home, Tyrone says after a while. I will get you a taxi, Jake. I'm thinking that's a good idea. I'm feeling a bit sick now. But I don't have any money for a taxi. But Jalal tells me that his brother's a taxi driver. I'll give him a ring now, he says. We can get a kebab on the way home. I realise that I've not eaten since lunchtime, so a takeaway sounds good. So Jalal's brother picks us up and we all leave the club. We go for a kebab down the road. This'll line your stomach, Tyrone says, handing me a kebab and chips. The others are laughing and joking. I think they know the owners, but I'm too out of it to know what they're talking about. The snooker club becomes a regular thing. We get a side room and I usually crash out. Hassan and Tyrone are always there. Jalal and Tariq too. Sometimes it's others. Mum doesn't seem to mind. I heard her telling Danny she's happy that I made some friends. I usually get a lift home from somebody, or a taxi if I've been drinking and everyone else has. One night Hassan shows up in a black Toyota Corolla. It looks well nice. Hassan asks if I want to spin. Of course I do, I say. Hassan lets me sit in the passenger seat and Tyrone's in the back. Want to see what this thing can do, he says. But before you have time to answer, we're thrashing it down the road. The music is pumping through the speakers and the windows are down. I feel the air hit my face as Hassan floors the car. What do you think of this? Tyrone shouts over the engine. It's fucking awesome, I shout back. I feel like a proper grown-up, even though I realise I'm still in my school uniform. Hassan pulls into a 24-hour garage. Here's 20 quid, he says, handing me the money. Fill her up. I've seen my mum fill up her car before, so I reckon I know what to do. I just can't believe Hassan is trusting me to do it. The door to the shop is locked, so I'll pay the guy in the garage through the little window. He doesn't say anything, he just takes the money. Then I'm back in the car, and we're screeching out the forecourt. Tyrone passes me a spliff. It's really strong tonight, and I feel it hitting my head already. We're travelling on the other side of town now, and we're slowing down. I don't recognise any of the buildings round here. Hassan pulls into a back street. I see a neon sign above. Hotel, it says. Where are we going? Party, Hassan says. Come on, as I'm being ushered up a set of steel stairs into the hotel through a fire door. There's this big bloke standing outside, and he recognises Hassan and lets us in. This weed is really affecting me tonight, and my head is swimming. Nothing feels real anymore. I'm being ushered through the corridors by Tyrone and Hassan and into this room. There's about 10 men in there. They're all talking and laughing, and I can smell weed. The music's playing really loud. I see Jalal and Tariq. I wave. Then some guy I never met hands me a drink. It's vodka or something that tastes like that. Enjoy yourself, he says. It's a party. Then I realise that Tyrone and Hassan aren't in the room anymore. Where's Tyrone? I ask the guy. Who? He says. Then he's kissing me. And this dirty fucker has got his tongue in my mouth. I'm trying to tell him to get off me, but he's too strong and I can hardly breathe, and he's got his mouth all over me. I see Tariq come towards me, and I think, thank fuck, he'll get this pervert off me. But he just draws in his cigarette. Relax, Jakey boy, he says. What? I thought Tariq is supposed to be my mate. Does he not see I don't want to do this? Then I can feel his hands tugging at my belt, and it comes undone, and then he's got his hands in my trousers, and the other guy's still kissing me. I'm feeling woozy, and the room's spinning. I see flashes, and the other guys are taking photos with their phones. Then I must black out. Tonight I'm in some flat. I don't even know where in town it is. Tyrone and Hassan have brought me, as usual. I'm sat on the bed. The door to the room's locked. I'm thinking, how the fuck did this happen? I can't tell anybody what's been happening these last few weeks. The things those guys have done. I can't even tell Danny. What would he think if he knew what I've done? And even if he wasn't completely disgusted by me, what could he do? This isn't Dylan Craddock picking on me in the playground. My brother's left hook isn't going to solve this. I can't do anything. I can't say anything. That's what Hassan told me. And he's right. I can hear footsteps outside the room, and the key's turning. The door opens.